Hello crafties, welcome to another video. My name is Infinity and today I am going to be doing sort of a sequel to last week's video. I am showing you guys how to do ribbing. So if you remember correctly, last week we did ribbing in this periwinkle, but it was in the form of front post and back post double crochets. Today I'm going to show you a different method of ribbing, and it's going to look totally different from this, but it's still equally as pleasing. For this tutorial you're going to need scissors, you're going to need a yarn needle, you are also going to need a crochet hook. This week I am using a 5mm crochet hook or a size H8 USA hook, and I am back again with another Red Heart Super Saver. It is called Frosty Green. And I'm going to start with a slip knot. So sometimes I use my hook for my slip knot. A lot of times I'll use my nails when they're long. What I'm going to do is chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can work this form of ribbing in any stitch that you want. The difference between this form of ribbing and the previous form that I showed you all last week is that it's a little less difficult to do single crochets with this. So I'm just going to single crochet all the way across that chain, and I should have 9 single crochets after going into that second chain from the hook. So I'm going to work those really quick. I'm already noticing that this particular color of Red Heart has a different sort of, I want to say, consistency than did the color that I used last week. This is why I often use a 5mm hook, even though the label says 5.5mm. It just depends on the texture and consistency of the yarn. This one is obviously thinner feeling. Like, it's not thinner, it's still 10 ply, but yeah, different feel. And so finishing that row, what I'm gonna do is chain 1. And don't worry if your single crochet is curled up on you. They do that by nature, so they'll eventually work it out, or if you're doing a large project you can block it. So I've turned my work, and instead of thinking about the front post, back post, what we're going to do is look at the top of these stitches. So there is a loop here and a loop here, and what we want to do is work in the back loop of these stitches. So the loop that's away from you, and you're just gonna work a single crochet, okay? And then what we're gonna do the same thing again. So if you see here correctly, this loop back here that's away from us, we are going to just slip our hook in there and under that, and we are going to make another single crochet. And we're gonna do it again. And again. Oops. And again. And again. And again. And again. It looks like one more time we're going to do that for a total of 9 stitches. And like I said, it's going to curl up on you, and it can be a little frustrating to see, but the longer you do it, the less curly it gets. Okay, so I am going to chain these, and I've done a few more rows, not many rows, of these ribbing stitches. And where I'm wanting to go with this is that I want to show you how to count these, because if you're doing a long project, sometimes it is really easy, not just sometimes, it is always kind of hard to count out these stitches. And in my opinion, single crochets are really hard to count out sometimes anyhow. So this is similar to knitting in that every time you see a ridge, that counts for 2 rows. So this ridge is 2, this is 4, this is 6, and then you have a row 7 right here. And if I were to pull these apart, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, so there's like 7 rows. Yeah, 7 rows. So but you're gonna want to make sure that it's on the right side when you get ready to count them, to make sure that you do have the right side. I think this is the back, so I did count it wrong. So you're gonna want to look at this side and say 2, and then 4, and then 6. So we really have 6 rows. So after you finish ribbing, as far as you want to rib, I say you can fasten off. So I'm going to chain my 1 and cut my yarn, and I'm going to cinch that close. And that concludes today's tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you found it to be helpful, then consider subscribing, donating a coffee, and checking out the other social media. It's all linked down below. And I just wanted to show you guys real quick the difference between these types of ribbing. Both very wonderful methods, obviously very unique methods, and it just depends on what you're doing. I usually use this type of ribbing for bands around hats. Sometimes I'll use them in scarves. I have used it on sweaters. If you guys have seen my Joseph sweater, the really colorful uber bright one, the ribbing is across the torso, and the collar is completely ribbed, as well as the cuffs on the sleeves. Some of my Infinity scarves have been ribbed. And then this is something I use more so on my gloves. If you've seen some of my earlier glove making, this is around the cuff pretty much, and to me the ribbing just makes the yarn feel thicker, and it keeps you more, it just keeps you warmer, really. So yeah, that's about it for today. Happy making.